Thank you for watching another episode of Frostbites. Today we had Alex from Sabika on. I tell you what, I love jewelry, but not as much as she does. She is such an incredible designer, and we got to hear about everything that she does behind the scenes and how she comes up with what she does and so much more. What an incredible episode. And we had Judy here from Sabika as well. So stick around. Here's Alex from Sabika. All right, we are here with Alex Gracik from Sabika. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, Judy was so excited. She's my co-host today, so we have 3 interviews we're doing, and I'll tell you what, she was like, we have to wear everything from Sabika.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate it.
As if I would not.
I love it. Yes, I know.
As if that's different from any other
Right,
day
you
of our
always
life.
rep me very well.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like an addiction.
That's
I think,
what we
wearing
strive
Sabika.
for.
It is.
Yeah.
And you wear it so beautifully, and you each have it on in such an individual, unique way. I love it. Makes me
you.
very happy.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the way here, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she got a jewelry box for Christmas. And it was huge, to the point that she thought it was a bumper for her Jeep. Like, that's how big this box was, right?
She's like, we need to fill up.
She says, oh, he got me a bumper. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's what they do.
Right.
So then this morning she says, okay, so it's a problem. And I said, what's wrong? And she goes, I can only fit 36 necklaces.
I know.
And I said, oh, that's like a third. She goes, not even. She goes, what am I going to do with the rest of
Amazing. I know. That's been like so just incredible to see over the years. You know, we're 23 years of Sabika, and just seeing some of the ways women collect and store their Sabika. There's actually a really funny story. This was a Sabika stylist whose husband was, they were getting ready to go on a cruise, and he was telling us this story when we met. He said, you will not believe this, but we were getting ready to go on a cruise, and I told my wife, make sure to put all your jewelry in the safe so we have everything locked away and we're good for our trip and whatnot. And he says he walks in the room, and there's all the, like, diamonds and gold outside of the safe. She had put all of her Sabika inside the safe. And, yeah, I love that story, because it's like, you know, it's what feels right and feels precious to you. And, yeah.
I mean, those are your valuables, right?
I know. It is. They hold, like, stories and little memories.
They only go on the carry-on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
we need you to check that bag. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the
That's like
same
right
way.
above me.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a good flyer.
Yeah.
You know,
we are aware.
Yeah, very aware. But when I'm packing everything up, and I'm a very heavy packer.
Yeah.
Everybody makes fun of me for it. But whenever I am doing my carry-on, it's always my medications, which are probably a lot, my laptop, and my jewelry. So, I mean,
exactly.
Those are things I cannot live without.
I know.
I know. There's no way. I mean, if that ever got lost,
Totally.
I would be, finding
Identity
people.
crisis.
I know. It's true. It is true.
It would be.
Yeah, leaving the house without my Sabika on does feel like I always have like a little extra either in the car or in my purse.
We talked about
it just
this.
Feels, I feel a little naked.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually read this thing one time, and they said every woman, if they wear 7 pieces of jewelry, it increases their attractiveness.
Interesting.
Oh, I like that quote. Yeah.
But really, I don't know why it's 7.
Yeah.
but
Was it 7 bracelets or just 7 pieces?
It
of
just said
jewelry?
7 pieces of jewelry.
Interesting.
So I don't know if each earring is 1 and 2, or if
I
it's...
think we definitely have that covered, right? Yeah. That's awesome. But, it's so interesting because for me, it's like, I can see how that happens, and it's not about the jewelry. It's like, it just gives you that little extra confidence or,
You feel put together.
You do. So it's not about the jewelry. It's just like that feeling, and then that confidence makes you shine more. Yeah.
All right, so that is a question we were talking about before. So if you left the house, what one piece of jewelry would it be that you forgot that you just can't? You have to go back for. You feel naked.
Earrings.
Earrings.
Yeah. For me, it's earrings. I've always loved earrings. Even before Sabika, before I started designing jewelry, it was like I loved statement earrings. I loved the big earrings. So yeah, it would definitely be earrings.
Yep. Okay.
And that's what I said mine was too. In fact, I now keep a pair in my glove box because Michael said I'm not turning around because we'll be halfway down the road and I'm like, oh my God, I'm naked. We got to go back.
I know.
That's ingenious.
Yeah.
I think.
So a little organza bag fits perfectly in there.
I love it.
The favorites, they go with everything.
Exactly.
There's always one in the car.
Yeah. I'm totally going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I have a few pieces that actually look very similar, so I wouldn't miss it, if I didn't have it right there.
Right.
But yeah, I'm completely going to do that.
Love it.
I mean, I will admit that I just went through all of my jewelry, and I mean, it's 99% Sabika. It really is. But I have all these little plastic trays, and they all pull out.
Yeah.
And I have each little one has different earrings. But I have the most earrings, and now I have these little carousels that spin, and they all had the necklaces on them, and that's
awesome.
It's so much easier once you can see everything.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Yeah.
I wish I were that organized. People always ask me, how do I organize at home? And I have this little, it's called, I think, like a bento box for jewelry, and it does have the little compartments, but everything is just thrown in together. So yeah.
I have a little bit of a problem with organization.
I'm more in the Alex School of Organization
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. Creative chaos is what we call it. Yeah.
Yeah, but lose sleep.
Yeah.
I would eventually find it. I know it's there somewhere.
That's awesome.
That is funny. All right, so questions that we were all talking about before. So we all know your mother, and absolutely adore her. She was one of the first speakers for Peel Luncheons whenever we started that, and we so appreciated her. Now, I always give all of our speakers, as you know, Sabika, because I'm so appreciative, and it's because whenever we came to Sabika, your mom gave me my first piece of Sabika, which, of course,
That's amazing.
First one's free, and then it's like, But it was so generous, I just really was so touched by that, that whenever I have any of my speakers, I always give Sabika.
I love that you do that. It's that giving forward. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
That's already my love language is gift giving, so that makes me happy.
Yes.
And I always ask people, open your bag, because I love to watch their face when they see it. I mean, even all my champions and my volunteers, I give them Sabika. I give everybody Sabika. If I can, I give it,
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I really.
Yeah.
But your mom started the company at 50.
Yes.
So now we know how old you are, but we won't say it out loud. You are younger than I am, though. But where do you see yourself at 50?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. I hope, and what I'm working towards is continuing to thrive with Sabika. That's something that I took a lot of time to really reflect on when I took over the role as CEO. It was a big decision, and especially within a family business dynamic, having two sisters as well. It really was something that I wanted to be really thoughtful about and continue. It's a decision you make every day, again and again and again. So for me, it was a little bit of a self-reflection and just figuring out if this is really my calling. And every time I ask myself that question and continue to ask myself that question, it is, yes, it feels very much like my calling. It's my love language too, and I'm just so grateful that my mom started Sabika at the age of 50, and I think about that a lot. I'm 43, almost 43 now, and getting a little more tired as I age, and I think about her at the age of 50 having that energy to be able to start something. So I hope that it is at 50 for me, a continuation of Sabika and whatever that next, those changes and iterations that are necessary to keep going, that I have an endless well of creativity to keep going with it too. So that's where I hope to be.
Good.
Yeah.
And there's so many changes that have been made.
Yeah.
Really, the Sabika of 10 years ago
Yes.
is different.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
I mean,
I do always, when people say, they're familiar with Sabika,
Yeah,
I would say,
right.
have you seen Sabika lately?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it is completely different.
It
that's
is.
a great quote.
I mean, we have some iconic
Right.
things that made Sabika that we still have, but have you seen it lately? Because there is so much different and, speaks to
Totally.
the younger generation
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and it's like holding both. It's life is change. It's inevitable and it's necessary, and that's all part of the creative process, is leaning into that change but still honoring the past. And I think that's for me too as a leader. I'm always striving to honor my mom's legacy and that past, and also finding ways to make it relevant for today and continue to make the necessary changes that people need. And like your style changes. I know my style. Look back at, the hairstyles I had, all brought me to where I am today. So it's definitely, I look forward to those. They're scary at times, the changes that are needed, but I know it's a necessary part of life and the process, and always using the past to inform the present, but looking to the future and how we can keep making things better. Yeah.
This is going to sound funny, but Sabika is an identifier of people.
Yeah.
Do you know how some people just have like,
Yes.
she has this or she has
Right.
that, or this is
Yeah.
her hair. My husband works in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Or did
Yeah.
at this time. And he was trying to explain to me, so-and-so came in, they wanted me to tell you that they said hello. And I was like, who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about. He goes, those ladies, blah, 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 blah. And I still had no idea who he was talking about. He goes, those Sabika ladies.
Oh, my gosh,
You know
yeah.
who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Your Sabika sisters.
Yeah.
That's what he kept saying. Then I knew exactly who he was
Yeah.
talking about as he continued to
Yeah.
try to explain to me who they were.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, there's
Yeah.
women out there that's how they're identified, as Sabika.
Yeah.
Sabika
Yeah.
ladies.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
But it's so funny because when you go places, that's how people, sometimes the first thing they see. They look at your eyes and then they look at your jewelry.
Yes.
Or your earrings or what you're
Yes.
wearing. And
Yes.
I know that I've gone to a few places and this lady says to me, oh, what do you, is that Sabika? And I
love
said,
that.
yeah. And she goes, I've never seen that before. I said, some of the stuff is different
Yeah.
and this and that. She
Yeah.
goes, are you sure that's Sabika? I'm 100% positive.
I'll take it off and show you the heart.
I love that.
And she
I
was
love
like,
that.
oh, I love that. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation
It is.
starter even.
It is.
But yeah, and then
That's
she goes,
amazing.
oh, I'm going to have to get that off you. And I was like, you're not gonna, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
But yeah.
That's honestly what it's about. It's connection. I think that's what we're here to do in this world and in this life, is to connect. And, sometimes that, even hearing that is a little overwhelming, because it's so beautiful to think that we've created this product and this mission of connecting women and people through the jewelry, and that it's always been, for me, not about trying to be the best designer in the world. That's not what it's about to me at all. It's about having something that connects people, that allows them to share their stories. I love that. I love sitting here with both of you and having this exchange too. It's like, it's magic. But it's interesting with the identifying Sabika, and that actually has been one of my favorite things too, when I'm wearing a pair of earrings and my friends say, oh, it's so nice that you also wear like non-Sabika pieces. I'm like, actually, this is Sabika too. So it's like that diversity that I'm always striving for within the collections, of trying to find pieces that will work for every style and inspire you to try some new things too. Like, I love seeing that evolution of starting with maybe like a pair of studs or a bracelet, and then before you know it, you see these individuals just exploring their own style and
The training wheels of Sabika.
It is. It really is.
And that has to be challenging, because we all,
Right.
we're styles are as individual as the person. So creating a line that speaks to everybody has got to be a huge challenge.
It is. And it's
I'm glad
interest-
it's yours, not
Thank
mine. And you do a
Thank
good
you.
job of it. Make my
Thanks.
job easy.
Try. I'm a middle child. I think it's so funny when you start to look at your life in that way too, of like how certain things fall into place in your experiences, and I think about how well positioned as a middle child that I'm always trying to make everyone else feel good and the peacemaker. And now I'm learning to set some boundaries, which is really healthy and important too.
Aren't we all?
Yes. But, it's like those were things that just naturally, like, I want to find ways to connect people and a diverse group of people. And I love that Sabika does that. Yeah.
Well, Peel is like that, our networking
Yeah.
group. The women that are part of that and men, although they don't wear a lot of Sabika.
Yes.
I mean, they're
But
from
They
25.
buy it for the
Yes.
women in their
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah, and my
But
dad
they-
wears his little earrings as little lapel pins, so yeah.
The women are from ages 25 to 70
Yeah.
in Peel.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, people call us the Peel Posse.
Yes, I love that.
So when we go to events, there's a whole bunch of us, right?
Yeah.
So it's so funny because when you start to hang out with women,
Yeah.
you guys, we start to mimic each other a little bit.
Mhm.
So we used to call and say, okay, what are you wearing? What are
Yeah.
you wearing? What are you wearing? So that
Right.
we're not all wearing the same
Right.
thing. Well, now it's not clothes.
You're right.
It's jewelry.
No,
What
it's-
Sabika are you wearing? So
love
that we're
that.
not all wearing the same.
I love it.
The same earrings or the same.
Right,
Because
yeah.
we all,
Yeah.
we all mimic each other and like
Exactly.
very similar things.
It
So
is.
the 25-year-old is wearing oftentimes the same
Yeah.
thing as the 70-year-old
I love that.
because it is for everyone.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It's funny. And so I went to the Fashion Institute of Vienna and studied fashion design. And for my final project, my senior project, I created a collection that bridged. So I did it was a pantsuit in green. Green's my favorite color. And I did it for you had to model certain things yourself, and then you had some, of the other students that volunteered to model too. And then I also sourced older women. So it was a suit that was mirrored with myself. I was, 20 at the time. And then the older woman who was wearing a similar suit, just with a little more texture. The details were a little bit different, but it was just, I've always appreciated women and older women and the wisdom that we can share with each other. So that's one of my favorite things. There was actually a photo in one of our I don't know if you remember, in one of our collection books. It was this tattooed, pierced younger girl. And
the skull necklace.
Yeah.
The sugar
and
I love that
she's
one.
in the same image with this beautiful 70-year-old woman, a breast cancer survivor. They were having the best time and wearing the same, piece of jewelry, but styling it a little bit differently. And it was just, it was beautiful. That's what I love that.
Connects them.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah. So speaking of models, Judy and I were talking before.
Yeah.
How is it that you choose the models that you use in all the catalogs and the runway?
So we, honestly, I can't even remember what inspired the initial, looking for, we call them real people. I mean, models are real people too, but, just women in our community. It was women that we connected with, that we met through friends or different stylists too, that we just wanted to celebrate that beauty, that unique beauty, and show you don't have to be a model to see yourself as beautiful. And honestly, it is our favorite moments in the Sabika office, because that's where we do most of our photo shoots, is watching that that magic kind of come alive in celebrating their beauty. So so we find them through friends. We find them through connections, like I said, Sabika stylists, community leaders, and we love seeing them, that first you get in front of the camera and there's a little bit of hesitation, as we all would, that's just unfortunately very ingrained in our nature as women generally. But then watching that confidence start to come out, and it's the jewelry, and they're showing it off, and they're starting to move, and then you have the music, and it's just you just see them coming to life, really. And at the end of it, we get so many letters, cards, hugs, thank yous. I've never had a day like this in my life, and I look at that as a microcosm of what our Sabika stylists do, when they connect with their clients, with their customers, and find pieces that make them feel beautiful. And it's like, so that's what we really enjoy. And we've had some professional models too that have been in the mix, and even they say they've never experienced photo shoots like this, like really feeling so empowered. And we are mostly a female crew too, female photographer, all of that. So, you know, that line really runs through everything.
I love that. So we do our headshot sessions. Dominique and I do that every quarter.
And that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
That's how we connected.
Yeah.
So tell her what we do, if she doesn't know already, or our audience.
Oh, hello, audience. So when the ladies come down for their headshots, I bring all the current Sabika and some other pieces too, and they are welcome to use whatever they want. No obligation to purchase. They can do it for whatever makes them feel good for their photo shoot. They'll bring their outfits, and I will style their outfits for them because they can change a few outfits for their photo shoots. And it's been great.
But it is the same thing. That's what she's explaining, is that these ladies, I mean, and
they're from all different ages and groups and stuff too.
And Judy's so good with people.
I know she is.
So when she's got everything put out,
I like them.
These women come up in their clothes, and she's like, "This, look, put this, and then this, and then this." And then the new thing that she's been doing, I shouldn't say new, but is that, you know, just knowing how to put different jewelry on people. And like the videos that
we
she
get trained.
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
We get trained for you guys. So.
Yeah.
But it is what, Judy, it's a love for people. And you can see that. It's so authentic. And I've seen the beautiful photos. I love seeing the headshots. And they're glowing, you know, and it's really, you can tell that they're comfortable in that environment with you, with the photographer, with the jewelry, with all of it together. And it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, they light up, you know, and then they're there. And as soon as they start to see their photos, it's almost...
And it lets them know, too, like, they have, like, some special pieces they can still keep on and wear with Sabika, too. Like, we have a lot of people that have, like, a piece that they want to, that they wear every day. And I'm like, you don't need to take that off. We're just going to style with it.
Was designed to do. It was always designed, like, when my mom started with Sabina, it was like women need to be able to wear their precious jewelry and just style it up a little bit. And so Judy was actually at the event this year, the Cancer Bridges event, right? Where we partner with Cancer Bridges and we invite women to, or actually anyone, to come and get styled. They get their hair done, their makeup done, they get styled with the jewelry, and they're always usually wearing something that's meaningful to them. Special, exactly. And at first, the same reaction, like, oh, should I take this off? And I'm like, no, this is just to enhance that. We want you to be able to wear these pieces that have a special memory. Or we recently, and that event is incredible, like watching that, just their power in that moment, and that, like, that, I don't know, it's just like...
The energy there.
The energy, it really is. And it's like, you get to celebrate them and their story and their fight. And the pictures are, like, just mind-blowing.
Oh, I've been on set for a couple of those. It's
so beautiful. But, so it's... I kind of lost my...
It's good. It connects women.
I am a little bit my mom.
Yes.
But no, it does. It's really, it's such a beautiful, beautiful process to watch.
I think the expectation walking into that is that you think, oh, this is going to be sad.
Yeah, that's true.
But
maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, it really isn't. It's powerful.
It is.
You know, these women, I think, like...
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, they are so strong already, but then when you put them together, they're unstoppable.
And it's, you know, it's been a hard year for us as a family. My dad was diagnosed last March, I think, with stage 4 prostate cancer, and we had done, you know, we've been fighting for breast cancer research and our pink parties for so many years, and you know, you would have those interactions and hear the stories, and but it just hit home so differently this year too. And what I love about Cancer Bridges too is that they include everyone that's been touched by cancer. So you have daughters, you have sons, you have partners that all come and are able to be a part of this experience. And the first year we did it, I remember a young girl who was 16, my daughter's age. She had just lost her mother, and she was there with her friend. And it was just this moment of being able to, be yourself and feel yourself, and just kind of get in front of the camera, and the smiles started happening, and the hugs and the warmth and the beauty and all of that. And it's like there's such power in that, and the experience of cancer too. It hits you hard, but then you see how much strength is really in you and the people that you love. So,
and I think it's that whole phrase of "you're not alone."
Yes, yeah.
When you're
definitely.
in a room full of people and they all understand.
Yep.
At least to a certain extent.
Totally.
Of how you feel or what you're going through, or and I think there's a certain amount of just almost camaraderie.
There is definitely, and it's interesting, as you're saying that too, at the end of the day, we all just want to be seen. And I think Sabika does that too. It's like that's what I get so excited about, seeing women having that confidence to shine and sparkle and wear the jewelry, not just the way you see it on Instagram and it's just a little, hoop earring or whatever. And if that's good for you, great. But I love seeing that confidence with that self-expression too. And that Sabika can unlock that in a way as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so we keep saying Sabika,
I
but then
know.
you said something else.
Yeah.
So what was the original name?
Oh, so Sabika, the name actually comes from Sabina and my mom, Karen. So Sabina is the woman who in Austria, who my dad met. That's how all of this came about, really. He actually met Sabina and her daughter, Birgit, who also female-owned, female-run company, jewelry company. They are manufacturers. And it was when my mom met Sabina that actually what you described earlier about women kind of looking and, staring at each other's jewelry and admiring. It was funny when my mom first met Sabina, who was looking to bring her products over into the U.S. She had sold in all over the world, really, in Japan and in Europe and other parts of the world, but never in the U.S. And my parents have a background in marketing consulting, so they did a lot of work with companies over in Europe. My mom had a lot of experience in fashion, so this felt like, an interesting connection. But my mom, being my mom, she's, she doesn't hold much back. She told Sabina, as soon as they met, she said, just so you know, I'm not a jewelry person, and I really don't think this is going to work. But as they were just chatting and talking and connecting, and actually, you still to this day watching the two, it's like they're just, they just have such a deep bond and connection. My mom kept staring at Sabina's necklace the whole time, and it was a cross necklace. And by the end of the conversation, they just connected so much that my mom was like, you know what, let me try, let's do this. And they trusted each other. And it was, you think about startups and you hear all about these investments and here are two women that are meeting each other for the first time and trusting each other enough to try something. So Sabina gave my mom some pieces to show over here in the States. She tried them in boutiques. That didn't really resonate. My mom tweaked some designs because she's like, U.S. women, I know what they want. She had done so much market research and her fashion experience, all of that. So everything started kind of aligning. And she came to the realization that at the time the home parties were the way to show the product because they had such a uniqueness to them and such a special story. And so that's where really the name came from. Sabika is Sabina and Karen together.
And you knew
Cool.
this?
Yeah.
I did know this, and had you been to one of my parties, you would know that too. I do like to share that because,
I love that.
you know, a piece of jewelry in a showroom
Yeah.
and a showcase does not come to life as much as two women connecting. And when you do a styling session with Sabika, it's
Yes.
two or more women connecting.
Exactly.
And I will connect you.
Exactly.
And tell
And
you
I
the
was telling
story.
Judy, I said, every
Love
time
that.
we're together, she's
Yes.
off doing the Sabika stuff, and I said, I'm
Yeah.
talking to everybody about peel. So I never
Yes.
heard that story
Yeah,
before.
Yeah.
It was so interesting.
It's really cool.
So I was doing some research,
Yeah.
you know, and looking at some things, and I came across something that said you had a photographic memory.
Oh, yes.
I was unaware of this.
Yeah. It's.
I'll be very careful now.
I cannot remember people's names to save my life.
Oh.
Like, it's just something I can't, but I remember them. Like, I have a photographic memory that also helps a lot in designing.
I bet.
Because I can think, you know, I might not know the name of pieces. I know it's so funny. People always come up to me with older Sabika pieces, vintage pieces, and ask me about, you know, the name. And I'm like, I cannot tell you the name, but I can tell you what I designed around that, like what story it belonged to, what colors. You know, I'm very quick at being able to identify whether it's a real, you know, authentic Sabika piece or a knockoff. So yeah, that does come in handy.
Now, is that a lot?
It's a lot. Yeah. I think it's my ADHD brain though that's like able to handle that. It's like a superpower in a way, but also can be challenging for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm good with names, but I don't remember anything else. I got your name. That's it.
Not true, because you know what? Anytime you're bringing anything out, you're like, this is this, and this is what color it is, and this is what. I mean, you're so informative with every single.
Well, that's when you're
You're very good
Sabika
at
stylist. We have all that at our fingertips on our website and our training. That's just good training.
Yeah, but I watch your
But
lives.
you use it.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good use.
And your lives, you're not looking down at anything. You're speaking right to your audience, and
Yeah.
you know everything about every piece that you're
Yeah.
talking about.
You don't see the
It is
cameraman
amazing.
with the flashcards behind me. But thank you.
No, you do though. You do a really nice job.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
easy to do something that you love.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then Judy was telling us that you're a foodie.
So
Did I use those words?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I don't know if I can really claim that, to be honest. It's funny because Miriam is a foodie, my younger sister, and
That's
my
what
dad.
I meant. Yeah.
No, totally. And the two of us look so much alike
Yeah.
that everyone confuses us. I would say my taste is very Pittsburgh. I love good fries. I love good grilled cheese, pierogies, all the carbs you can get. But I have an appreciation for food, the art of cooking. I enjoy cooking
Oh.
when I actually get to do it. I can't follow a recipe, but I love just getting ingredients and trying things out and experimenting. So
So are you more of do you like to cook or bake?
definitely cook. Baking is too, like, again, I
You
think
must
that's where-
do things.
Yes, and it's interesting. I think that is a little bit my brain. Just the creative process for me is very, from the outside, very disorganized. In that, like, I'll start here, and then I'll see something over here, and then I'll work on that a little bit and come back to it. And with baking, you have to follow the instructions. And if I'm using a recipe to actually cook something, I'll just glance at it quickly and then be like, I get the gist. That's how I read books too. I know. And then kind of create my own like version of it. So
They say
yeah.
that's very telling.
Is
Whether or
it?
not you like to
Yeah.
cook or you like to
Interesting.
bake.
What
Yeah.
if you like to do both? I just like to eat, I guess.
I do too.
See, I don't like to cook, but I do like to bake.
Yeah.
You know, being able to follow something like exactly how it is and have something come out exactly how it's supposed to be.
It's a science. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I
Yeah,
think
I
mine's
like
that OCD, like
Yeah.
having everything to be completely organized.
My husband's like that. Yeah. We're a good yin and yang kind of in that.
My
Yeah.
husband
Yeah.
likes to cook; he could
Yeah.
not bake.
Yep.
So yeah, it's very similar. But he's also extremely messy, and it drives me crazy.
That is the other side of that for sure.
It definitely is. All right. So growing up, who
Yeah.
was influencing you besides your mother?
Oh gosh, so growing up, you know, it is interesting. Like I look back at my life, and it has been very female centric. You know, very strong woman as a mother, strong women as sisters. I have let me count them, 5 aunts, all very strong women. So they definitely had a big influence, my grandmothers. Just a lot of powerful women, which can be a lot too. And I would say probably the other really big influence on me growing up was my ballet experience. So again, there are a lot of strong women that also, that's what my mom attributes my discipline to. So I have the creative, chaos part of me, but I also have the discipline to apply rules and structure. I appreciate structure. I think that helped me appreciate structure a lot. It's in learning how to take feedback.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. But I think at a
Do
younger
not take
age,
it personally.
do not take it personally. Exactly.
That's hard. I think that's hard for anyone.
Yeah, it is. But I'm always asking for that feedback too. I think that had a big impact on me too. I want to know if you like the piece or not. Be honest with me if there's something, and within the business too, the feedback from our stylists, which Judy, I appreciate you very much, being that channel for us too, and giving constructive feedback. I mean, there's a difference, right, too. But I think my ballet experience taught me that. It's and you adjust, and you take those things and you apply it right away. You have to process it and filter it and make sure it's, the right direction. But I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know when I was a teenager, magazines were really popular.
Yeah.
Right? And you'd go and you'd get magazines and you'd go through every page and you'd cut everything out, and that's where you got your fashion sense, and that's where you sort of developed your taste for what you liked.
Yeah.
Was that something that you did?
Definitely. To be totally honest, I was a little bit of a little old lady as a teenager.
You were a little bit
little
of
old lady.
So,
I
good
I can relate to that.
My old soul. I
Ladies have
loved
general.
Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart was my thing.
Wow. Okay.
I loved going to flea markets, to garage sales. So I was hanging out with all the little old ladies. But no, honestly, that's where I love vintage. I love there's so much, and that's why I love working with vintage components too. I really geek out over that because it's just so beautiful to be able to use
the buttons.
Something the buttons, exactly, the medallions, even the pressed metal pieces, some of the crystals that we use, all of that. So yes, I had that side, but then I also really loved magazines. I loved fashion magazines. I was very fortunate with my mom having been in the fashion industry and doing trend forecasting. I got to travel with her on some trips. So people watching, that was a huge source of inspiration for me, and it still is. I love watching videos still now on YouTube of street style in Paris or New York, and just seeing how people, style themselves and express their personality. So that was always a huge source, and still is. Yeah.
Now, Japanese fashion, that's very eclectic and just, I don't know, it's so different.
Yeah,
What do you think of that?
I love it.
Do you?
I love it. I'm always playing with kind of oversized shapes in my wardrobe and kind of unique patterns. And I think Japanese style, they seem to be very conscious of the materials used too. It's very kind of nature inspired as well. And so I love that. I really do.
And it's colorful.
It is.
It's almost just happy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's you can be inspired by the earthy tones of nature, or the bold patterns and prints and florals and things like that too, which is really fun. So I like to mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the neon that you all just had that came out, where did that come from? So different.
The 80s.
Yes, yes.
Which is so different for Sabika.
I know. It was, I like kind of playing outside the lines a little bit. And always, there's always a tether back to what I hope people will accept and tolerate. But the neons were just, I don't know. I felt after, through the pandemic, people needed happy. They needed color and fun, and neon is like, you know,
And energy.
maximized, exactly. And energy, it does. Like color, that was like when I studied fashion design, you learned about the psychology behind color and how it makes you feel and all of that. So, yeah, I just intuitively felt like, okay, we need these bold pops of color, and then Barbie came out, so that helped. You know, that was great to kind of affirmation of this is a good trend, and it's going to continue. Yeah. So you'll see some more neon.
Very cool.
Coming up too. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I know. Well, this is
Always something new and exciting with
This is your opportunity
Sabika.
to ask her anything you've got.
Oh boy, well I don't know.
Anything you ever wanted to ask her?
This could be dangerous.
I know. I can't, honestly, I'm like, I'm
We're
drawing
walking that
think,
line.
I think we're more alike than I realized.
I think we really are.
Yeah, I always thought
I
I was
know.
more like Miriam.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we might be sisters.
I know.
No, like,
No, I think, you know, where I see like the strongest connection with is our love for people. I do. Like I may at, you know, first impression is that I'm a bit of an introvert, and there are parts of me that are definitely introverted, but I love people. I love talking to people. I love connecting with them.
So you're
loving
an
their
ambivert.
stories. Yeah, probably.
I've never
Yeah.
heard that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like that too.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I need my retreat, especially
Yeah.
after
I haven't made a
holidays.
retreat.
Yeah, I have like a timer. Once I hit that, I'm like, okay, time
You're
to go
peopled
home.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, too much people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I get it. Yeah,
definitely.
that's good though. It's good to know your boundaries.
It is.
You know, I think after a certain amount of time being on this earth, you understand. Okay.
Starting to.
Yeah.
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 I think that comes with age too. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to understand it, but be able to stick to it.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, and boundaries are healthy.
So healthy.
Yeah, it's not a negative. Sometimes
No.
I've heard people say, "Oh no, boundaries, no."
No.
Yeah, it's a
No.
good thing. It
It is.
keeps you energized.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
it
need to be
definitely
able to recharge those
Yeah,
batteries.
Definitely. That's
Yeah.
like that's what I'm working on, those boundaries. Yeah.
So how do you recharge your batteries?
So this is probably where we're not alike.
Okay.
Although I have found some books recently that
I'm still on your
just-
series.
I
I'm
know.
on number 3 right
Yeah,
now.
it's so, because I read it on Kindle, and then when I go to the bookstore and I
That's
see
what I
actually
got
how
for
thick
Christmas.
I'm like, I feel so accomplished.
Yeah,
that I
as you
read a book.
should,
Yeah.
because it's daunting.
Right, yeah. I recharge. I love connecting with nature. That doesn't mean I'm like an avid hiker like my husband, but I love being in nature. I love trees. I love. I'm the weirdo that, like, as I'm walking, is touching the trees every now and then. So that recharges me. Just like looking out the window and observing and watching nature. That is the idealized version. My not so, I guess, sexy version is me binge watching shows.
Well, I like that too.
Yeah. Yes. So it's like, I think that's how I recharge my batteries, kind of separating a little bit, going into that fantasy world, whether it's through a book or it's through watching something that is visually really inspiring. Like I love, Bridgerton and the costumes. So I get inspired through that too. And
What about The Crown?
I love The Crown too.
Yeah, I did love it.
Yes. And I have a little nerdy side to me too, probably a lot through my husband. But I love Dune. Like, have you seen that movie?
I read the books.
Did you? Jeremy did too, several times.
As a
Should be on
teenager,
my
though,
list.
so it's been a while.
Yeah. So it's just like those visual, like taking you out of the norm.
So
And
if there's
inspiring.
one movie you could watch over and over again, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. The first one that comes to mind would be Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, I love that movie.
That was, and I think like the Three
Interesting.
Sisters thing too. So I watched that.
You can
a
kinda
million
relate.
times. Definitely relate. And Dune actually is another movie I could watch over and over again because it's just visually just so stunning. It's beautiful. Yeah.
No, I haven't
Yeah.
seen either one of those
Yeah.
movies. Now I'm
You've
gonna
not
have
seen
to.
I know.
Jane.
No, I know. You can scold me later.
What about The Age of Innocence? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm more of a, I need to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
that's-
mean, to recharge, I need music.
Yeah.
Well,
You put on
that's
some
a
good
staple.
jams, and I'm
yeah.
up.
That's for me. It's dancing in the kitchen. That's like, but it's become more challenging because our dog Max, he's a Cavapoo. He gets so angry with me when I'm dancing.
Really?
He just doesn't get it. Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
he does.
He does, right? Yeah, exactly. Audrey says it's because he wants to be able to participate and can't. But, yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah.
this has been fantastic.
Aw,
We
thank
really appreciate you
you.
coming on.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
so many great answers. I love it.
Aw,
Now
it's
I gotta
been-
go watch
it's
all these
easy
movies.
to talk with you, with both of you. So thank you.
All right, well, we do like to end all of our interviews with a little bit of a frostbite question.
All right,
So
what was
Judy
my
has picked one
frostbite
for you.
question? Can you share a frostbite, a crisp, clear insight from your experience that our listeners can take away and chew on as they navigate their paths?
Oh gosh, crisp.
Something for them to chew on as they navigate their paths.
I would say find your anchor, like really sit with yourself and find that anchor. And I think that helps to create healthy boundaries too. Staying in that anchor and not, it's a hard thing to figure out where you begin and the other person starts, and ends. And it's like we're all just trying to navigate that interaction with the world and with each other. So I would say just learning to be comfortable with yourself and that anchor that you have and staying true to yourself in that way.
Love that. And it takes a while.
It does.
Nobody's born
Still
being
learning.
comfortable with themselves
No.
and just rocking out life. Right?
Definitely.
It takes a little while to figure out who you are and
For sure.
where you're going and
Yeah.
whether or not you're a sailboat or a speedboat, right?
So true.
Yeah.
And being okay with either one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This
Aw,
has been
thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
This is lovely.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on someday.
Cool. Love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that has been another episode of Frostbites with Alex and with the wonderful Judy as well. Stay tuned.